Hi, I'm Kim Gardner from Align Pilates and Dance Conditioning in San Jose, California. And we're going to do some exercises to reestablish our neutral shoulder. I have with me Allie, my wonderful instructor, and we're going to help you find a way to come out of what we call around here the Silicon Valley slump. So that entails finding the place for the humerus to come back into the socket, and then also the correct placement of the scapula on the rib cage. It's a bit complicated, two areas that we need to address. So first, I'm going to have Allie do a favorite exercise in my studio called Neutral Shoulder Finder. And I'm going to ask Allie to put her right hand right in that little kind of soft spot, that little crease next to the top of her arm bone, next to the top of the humerus. And I'm going to ask Allie to just move this bone away from her fingers and hold 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. And again, so you notice she's not moving her fingers. Her fingers stay there just as a little point of reference. And then she's going to move her humerus away and the outermost tip of the collarbone away from her fingers. And hold 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Good. And keep going. Again, and what I love about this exercise is you can do it anywhere. You can do it sitting in your car at a stoplight. You can do it standing in line at the grocery store. You can do it sitting at your desk at work. And the more often you do it, the greater your awareness is and your ability to self-correct. So one more time, and hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Now, let me have you turn around for a moment so that we can see from the back what that looks like. So do this one for me. So go ahead and before you begin, you can see we've got kind of a winging of the shoulder blade where this border is kind of poking out a little bit. And also face me for a moment. So in profile, you can also see her arm is sort of hanging in front of her shoulder joint there. So it's sort of forward this way. So stay facing me and do the correction and bring it back, right? So you can see now her arm has settled deeper into the socket, which enables us to go through a wider range of motion in the arm without bumping into the acromion or the end of the collarbone. Now go ahead and face the back again and show from this angle. So go ahead and find that neutral, and you see how the scapula then lays flatter against the rib cage. So we've also taken care of that position as well. Now go ahead and have a seat, and go ahead and you want to sit in a position or a chair or your sofa where you have something that you can have your arms or your palms pressing against. So you're going to sit very forward in your chair, and I'm going to ask Allie to first do the neutral shoulder finder, and then you're going to brace the belly so we're not arching the back. And I'm going to have her isometrically press her palms into the frame. So it's an isometric exercise for the back of the shoulder, the back of the arm, the triceps, while she's stabilizing through her core so we're not compensating somewhere here, and relax. And again, so neutral shoulder, and then activating the abdominals, and press 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. And again, press 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. And we'll do one more. Press 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to have her stay. And keeping that back, if you notice that we have a really nicely squared off line of her collarbones here, go ahead and round forward again. So here you can see kind of a sloping down, and you see a real prominent kind of bulk at the upper traps, a very common area of pain and tension for all of us. And now do the correction again. And now you see this has squared off. We have a nice wide squared off position. I like to use the image of a coat hanger, a very sturdy like wooden coat hanger you hang your heavy winter coat on, not a wire one that's going to collapse under the weight of the coat. So that's how we're holding ourselves up. And now we're going to take this into an exercise prone on her stomach. So go ahead and come lay down. I have down there just a rolled hand towel that we're going to use under her forehead to support a neutral neck position. So go ahead and adjust your forehead there so you've got breathing room for your nose. And we have palms facing down because I want her arm bones to be externally rotated in the exercise. So in this position, gravity is bringing her scapula into that rolled forward wide position here. The arm has dropped forward again towards the floor. I'm going to come around so I'm not blocking her way. And now I'm going to ask Allie to do that neutral shoulder again. And now in this position, it's a little more effort because gravity is creating our resistance. So it's a little more effort to get there and to sustain it. And then I'm going to ask her to slowly release. So she doesn't right away let go. We have to hang on to that muscular effort for just a little longer. And again, lift the outermost tips of the blades and hold 2, 3, 4, 5, and slowly back down. And again, lift the outermost tips. It's almost like I'm gathering them together, and yet we're not squeezing the shoulder blades together. And slowly back down. Now we're going to add a little upper thoracic extension, a little mini swan for our Pilates folks out there. So lift the outermost tips. And now I'm going to cue Allie to just lightly nudge that pad away and lift the breastbone. There we go, good. Just to there, abdominals are engaged. We're trying not to do the heavy lifting from these stronger muscles, but from here, which is a little more challenging. And now keep this rolled back even as you descend. And then slowly release. And again, roll them back. Now nudge the pad forward and lift. Good, and we hold. You're checking in with the abdominals. And slowly lower, keeping the scapula in place. And then release. Now, we're going to add a little rotation to this. So let me have you put your left hand under your forehead. Yep, there you go. And the shoulder rolled back. So now you're going to start the same way. We're going to lift this side. And I'm going to have her now lift her right thumb to the ceiling, and you're going to look over that right shoulder. Good, right there. Good. So both shoulder blades are back. This side is having to pull towards this hip, and then slowly back down. And again. So starting here, and thumb to the ceiling, and rotate. I'm cueing Allie to make sure this scapula stays wide on the back. And slowly down. And then we would, of course, do the other side as well. All right, let's move on to what I call the diamond low trap finder. So go ahead and put your pinky fingers down. And I'm going to cue Allie first to slide the shoulder blades down. So if you're doing this on your own at home, the order of the effort is first getting the scapula down and then lifting your hands. The elbows stay on the floor, Right. So the minute you do that, the arms are rotated, and that just helped get the scapula into this wide position. It's called upward rotation, where the lower tip of the blade is arcing out this direction. Now, in keeping that, she's going to attempt to barely lift her elbows off the floor. That's all, and then come back down and lower your hands. So let's keep your fingertips a little closer together and start. So number one is the blades coming down, so your shoulders aren't up around your ears. Part two is lifting your hands, and maybe not quite, you have a lot of range. Let's just go to there. Now, just keeping this position, feel those blades pull down, and I can see her lower trapezius, this little V down the mid-back. And you're going to envision that you're pinching the V point closed a little bit more. Slide it down. Yep. Don't try to lift barely off. So the hands stay higher and we're barely lifting. That's it. Now, if you find you can't help but get into that upper trap taking over, then don't even lift. Just make the kind of isometric effort. So that little pinch together of the V of the lower trapezius and that external rotation, and just barely a sense of attempting to lift, but I'm not even asking her to do so. And release. Good. All right, go ahead and come sit up. And we're going to get at that area in another way over the ball. And I like to use a magic circle, or you can hold a small ball, or you can just keep your hands in the diamond. And we're going to go onto the big gym ball. So go ahead and why don't you have a seat facing that way? And go ahead and draw the abdominals in and walk forward until you're in a good chest stretch. And I've got a pillow ready. At home, if you were getting into this by yourself, you just hold on to the pillow and pull your abdominals in and walk forward until you're in position. And now let's just, because we want to focus the area of stretch and extension up high, I'm going to ask Allie to come forward just a little bit and then try to keep the lower ribs connected to the ball. And we're actually going to do a little bit of a bridge in the glute and hamstring here so that she's not hanging out in a lot of extension. Yeah, right, not so comfortable after a while. So now take that same diamond position, and because we have it, and this shows up really well, I'm going to have you just hold that. So have your elbows in, because remember we externally rotated the arm bones here. And now I call this halo because she's going to bring this back like a halo, where a halo would be right over the crown of your head, and then return. And again. So we're in that external rotation and bringing it back. Keep going. There you go. Good. And then when you go to return, keep the rotation, and scapula slides down the back. And again, take it back. Good, and we're just going to make sure she's not getting her range from here, right? Or if you're at home, you want to try and check in, make sure you feel contact under you here. And then return, shoulder blades slide down the sides of the ribs. And again. And return. Good. So being in a little bit of extension in the upper back helps those lower traps activate, and vice versa. Take your arms back there one more time, and you get to enjoy a nice big stretch. So let your arms open to wherever it feels good, and just enjoy that stretch. All right, thank you for watching.